What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Hoops Betting Hour here on PicksWise. We are powered by FanDuel. I am your host, the big man on campus, back better than ever here on a Wednesday, hump day, getting after it here on a 9-game NBA slate. Coming off a good night last night, coming off a great night on Monday. Blackjack Fletcher joined us on Monday, threw us out a 3-1 night, had a 5-1 night together. I came back last night. I went 2-0, so very happy with how things have been rolling in the NBA. Been really involving myself in some more props and sides and things like that. So very excited to get after it. Blackjack, how you doing today?
I'm fantastic as always, baby. You know, shining like a diamond, rolling with the dice.
Great to hear. Great to hear as always. Very happy with your performance the other night. Nice work. You stayed with the Knicks. We'll see if you're back in that court tonight. We got a lot to take a look at. As always, thanks for watching. We are here every day. I am here every day, noon Eastern. I bring on various handicappers in the NBA business, and we chat about the card and get after it. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button. If you're enjoying the content, we hope to continue to grab your business, if you will. The base continues to go up, which is important. All right. If you have a comment or question, feel free to share it in the chat. We'll get to it for sure. We'll flash it up on the screen and answer it together here. All right. Blackjack, a couple of things from last night. I got to first go to this one. The Cleveland Cavaliers go to overtime against Phoenix as 13-point dogs and get outscored 20-4 in overtime and don't cover. Yeah. If you had the Cavs last night, I don't know what to tell you. That's brutal.
I mean, it's like Phoenix just woke up in the overtime, right? It's like something happened and they realized, like, oh, we're playing the Cavs. We should dominate this team. And they just figured it out.
I mean, that is about as bad a beat as you'll find. You very rarely see a team getting that many points. I mean, again, overtime is where dogs go to die a lot of the time. But a 13-point dog, just gutless.
But you know what, Jeff? That's what you get for betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
True.
Like, I don't care how many points you're getting. That's what you get.
But Colin Sexton, over 3.5 rebounds, comes in. We'll take it. Bucks and Nets, another classic. But look, the Milwaukee Bucks continue to put the rest of this league on notice. Look, I'm going to say this right now. And I know this could be a little questionable. And look, again, the Bucks have struggled in the playoffs. But again, so have the Sixers. So, the Bucks going into the playoffs, I do not want to face the Milwaukee Bucks. I think this is going to be the team probably to get past. It's a 3-man race in the East. Sixers, Nets, Bucks in that order.
What about the Knicks?
Well, the Knicks aren't winning.
I kid.
Yeah, the Knicks aren't winning in the playoffs. But, yeah, look, I don't want to see Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's on another level.
I mean, listen, the Bucks are one of those teams, though, to me that are kind of like, I don't know, they're like the Clippers of years past, the Suns earlier in the decade. It's like, I know the talent is there, but every year in the playoffs, there's some problem. I want to see it happen before I'm going to believe in it. I still like the Sixers. They're my pick to come out of the East. I think Doc Rivers makes a huge difference to this team from Brett Brown in the coaching area. And I just think that if it's going to be Brooklyn and Philadelphia, Brooklyn has no answer for Joel Embiid. They just don't. They have no answer. And I think that Philly is going to bully that team around.
Yeah, I've weirdly enough, over the last week, I've really soured on this Brooklyn team. I mean, look, at the end of the day, they're elite offensively, but there's only one basketball, and they are dreadful defensively. And they can't.
They don't even try. They don't even try. They don't attempt to play defense.
Yeah, and as you said, I mean, whether it's Giannis, whether it's Joel Embiid, I mean, they just can't defend those two players, and that's going to be their undoing. I mean, you look at defensive efficiency, all of a sudden, Brooklyn is down right at the bottom. I mean, this is a team last year that took some steps defensively, but I mean, they're 27th this year defensively. You look at it in 2019, they had a efficiency rating of 1.07, which when you look at this year, I mean, that's right up top 10 in the league. This year, I mean, 1.11. They're just getting.
Listen, I was vocal about this from the day it happened. I thought the Harden trade was a huge mistake. I think it will ultimately be the undoing of this team in 2 years. They traded away all their size, all their depth, all their rebounding, and you got a guy who you already had, a volume shooter. You already had that, right? I mean, I don't know. You didn't need it.
I think for this,
go get him.
For this particular team, I somewhat agree, especially with losing a guy like Jared Allen. I mean, Jared Allen, say what you want, he's a really good post defender. I mean, he's a good shot blocker. He can give you something, and they don't have that now. One other thing, you got to keep talking about it. Steph Curry. I mean, this guy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and look, I'm going to keep betting these props for Stephen Curry, but Steph Curry's a warrior, man. Pardon the pun. I mean, he's all they really have right now, and he tries, man. The guy puts it all out there every night. Just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, you can't say enough about what he's doing on a team that's going nowhere this year. A lot of guys might have said, maybe coming off an injury, whatever. Maybe I don't need to play every game. That's not what he's doing. He's going out there putting up insane numbers. So, ton of credit to him.
Yeah, shout out to Steph Curry. As I said, let's get into the games here today. We got 9 on the card, and Blackjack coming off a great evening the other night. The last time he was on the show on Monday. Both doing some good things right now in the NBA. So let's see what we got here on the card. As I said, if you have a comment or question, feel free to reach out in the live chat. We are powered by FanDuel. All the lines are from FanDuel. Make sure you're checking out FanDuel. We've talked glowingly recently just because not only does FanDuel have a lot of good things, but these same game parlays are fascinating, man. Mm-hmm. Just with great odds and you're able to really do whatever you want at FanDuel. So if you're in a qualifying state, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Colorado, wherever you are, go check out FanDuel. All right, first game, Boston Celtics at Orlando. Boston laying 11, total 217.5. No Jaylen Brown tonight, but for the Celtics right now, the name is all about Jason Tatum. I mean, he's just been terrific recently.
Sure.
But look, I'm going to continue to say this. The writing on the wall for the Celtics has been the inconsistency and defensively. I mean, they're middle of the road. You look at the last 3 games, this team has gotten shredded on the defensive end. But you look at tonight, I look at both sides here. I don't really want to lay double digits with the Celtics. This is a team that is 18-23 laying points this season. I also don't really want to back Orlando. Weirdly enough, I know laying 11 with the Celtics is bad, but again, I think the number's probably right around where it should. Orlando at this point is just kind of a team that is who they are. They just don't have a ton of talent right now. As you've talked about, they've kind of moved away from a lot of their guys. Cole Anthony's played well. I give Gary Harris the benefit of the doubt. And they're a little bit more backable than like a Houston or Cleveland, but I think this number's probably right around where it should. Won't be a game I'll be betting on tonight. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, when I saw this game was going to be first on our rundown, the first thought that I had was, do we have to?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, I mean, you said everything that needs to be said, right? Orlando's a scrappy team, but there's just a massive talent deficit when they step onto the court with virtually anybody. The Celtics are far too inconsistent to lay double digits with. I don't trust that team one bit. Even the total here, I mean, listen, this total, I lean under here, but in no way would I bet it. And I'm only leaning under because the Magic have a tendency to put up like 86 to 94 points on most nights. But there's nothing here that intrigues me.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of where I am. It's just it's a good number probably. It's probably right where it should be. I think again, I always try to give some sort of thought on where I would go. Look, if I'm giving a free bet and you say you have to bet it or you're going to death row, I'll play it and I'll play the under. But I'm not involved at all. And I think I agree with you. I don't even want to really talk about the game because I don't have any interest.
Right.
Would it surprise me if the Celtics lose? No. I mean, they were big favorites the other night against Oklahoma City and lost. So,
yep, exactly. Would not shock me.
They're a team that, they're 6th, 7th in the East for a reason. They're inconsistent. They always make everything interesting. All right, next one. Portland at Cleveland. Portland laying 11.5, total 229. Odds makers giving Portland a lot of credit here.
A lot.
I don't know if they realize Portland is bad on defense and may or may not have Norman Powell tonight. But look, I think it's and they said this morning that I think reports are coming out that barring a far playoff run, Terry Stotts will be out in Portland. And
finally.
Yeah, I mean, I think this team has been the same team every year. They're good offensively, and they don't stop anyone defensively. I don't know if that's a Terry Stotts problem personally, but
I don't know. Listen, I'm not saying Terry Stotts a bad coach, but let's be real here. He hasn't done anything spectacular, and he's hung on to this job now for a long time.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
And that's usually what happens. I mean, the scapegoat is usually the coach. And look, I have no issue with that. You got to do what you got to do. When you look at, I think, and I talked about this yesterday, I continue to marvel in Colin Sexton. He's continued on a bad team play really well. I mean, he scored 20 or more in 19 of the last 20 games. He's just really been the bell cow. I mean, they have no one else. And as I said, I mean, he does everything. He rebounds. He involves his teammates. He plays at the highest level possible. I'm not saying he's Allen Iverson or anything, but he kind of reminds me of that mentality. He just plays hard, doesn't care about anything else, just plays. Do you ever hear Colin Sexton speak about anything? He just kind of plays and does his thing, and he's really a great player. I hope he gets to a good team and a contending team at some point. There's no props out for Sexton yet, but if there are, I'll be on them, and I'll be looking towards the point rebound variety. As we know, Portland is a bad defensive team. Colin Sexton is a very good rebounder. He's grabbed 4 to 8 rebounds in 6 of the last 7 games. I'll be looking towards that market here. I almost wish it was available so I could give it out. Maybe by the end of the show it'll be there. Do you have any interest in laying 11.5 with Portland? What do you like here?
I don't, and that's the thing, right? Is I am. Let me be clear. I'm sure I'm not betting the Cavaliers, but I like Portland this year. I mean, I know they play no defense. I like them, when they're catching points. I like them even if they're laying a small number, not laying double digits. This team, the defense is just too bad. I mean, listen, we saw Cleveland hung around for 4 quarters last night against Phoenix. They spit the bit in overtime, but I mean, who's to say they can't hang in a game against Portland? There's no way I'm laying double digits with the Blazers.
Yeah, I mean, again, from a side total standpoint, not going to be on this one, but if I had to, I would agree with you. It's hard to back Cleveland. I mean, they're 24-41 against the number. I mean, they're right there with Houston as the worst ATS team in the league, and they find ways to lose. But this is a Portland team. I didn't actually look. I probably should have. But I'd love to see what they've done this year as double-digit favorites. I'm going to guess it's not been often that they've been double-digit favorites. Keep in mind, the last time they were double-digit favorites against Detroit, they did cover 118-103. So, maybe I think the issue you have tonight is for as bad as Portland is defensively, I think we also have to point out that Cleveland is dreadful on offense. They're the worst offensive team in the league. No one scores less points than they do. They're right there. And outside of Sexton, I think if you could find a way to kind of hem him in a little bit or just let him do the scoring, he's not going to score 60 points. I mean, let's say he scores 30. They're still only going to score 90 points. So this is another game where, kind of like the first one, I'm thinking, I just really don't want to get involved with it.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm with you. I can't get into this game. So.
But as I said, and I again, by the end of the show, I will at best bets probably revisit this game because I really like what I'm seeing from Sexton right now. He continues to play very hard.
He's been excellent.
Yeah, really has. And with no Garland, there's added reason volume wise for him. He scores way more, rebounds, all sorts of stuff. All right, next one. Let's get into it. Memphis headed on the road to take on Minnesota. Memphis laying 3.5, total 237. Shout out to the Wolves. They continue to play well.
Ooh, do they ever?
They've won 6 of 8. And, let's be real. I mean, Memphis isn't a world beater. This is a game where Minnesota's resurgent core, whether it's D'Angelo Russell, Anthony Edwards, Jalen McDaniels, Karl Anthony Towns, this has to be a game where they're looking at and saying, we've got another shot to win this one. This team's playing well. We'll never sell to you that they're good defensively because they aren't.
No.
But this is a Grizzlies team that's not playing particularly well. This is a Grizzly team that find themselves in these up and down high-scoring affairs where, again, points are always there, and there's always going to be a shot for the dog. I will say this, though. I think this is a sneaky under.
I am with you.
But I have major issues backing Memphis unders. Go look at Memphis games in the last 5, basically. They have been dreadful beats. Memphis find a way to just creep over. Now, this total is way higher than those totals have been. So this total might just be too high. And I'll tell you why. Are these two the fastest teams in the league? Yeah. But look at the efficiencies. Neither of these teams shoot the ball well. Neither of these teams shoot threes well.
No.
Neither of these teams are efficient. Neither of these teams make shots on a consistent basis. And at the end of the day, pace is important. But this is a total that just is, I think, a little too high. If this total were 229, probably wouldn't have any interest. But you're up at the high 230s, approaching 240. Definitely a lean on the under here.
I lean to the under as well, and I almost punched it, but I just can't get over Minnesota catching 3.5 points here. I mean, listen, the Timberwolves, since they've gotten relatively healthy, have played their best basketball of the year by far, right? Yeah. I mean, this is not even close. This is the best they've played, and they've looked decent. Like, it's not like they've just beaten up on – the Cavs and the Pistons. Like, they've looked pretty good to beat the Jazz twice in a row outright. I do think that they have something going right now. And if you're going to give me points with Minnesota against a Memphis team that honestly does not impress me very much, I'm going to take the points every time. So I'm going to take the Wolves here, plus the 3.5.
Yeah, I don't hate it. I think it's a really solid selection. I think, going up to Minnesota, it is a really, they don't win there. They just don't. I mean, they might go to the playoffs with, back in the day with KD or KG or something like that. But, it's a tough place to go. But the core is young. They're finding ways. They're finding some success recently. And I think it's about finishing strong here. And, I definitely lean Wolves and I lean under. We maybe will revisit this as far as Blackjack's concerned in the best bets, which we will give out at the end of the show. Stick around for that. This is a show where we go over every game. All right, next one. This is a play I'm going to be on. This is one of my best bets. Sixers headed on the road to take on Houston. Sixers laying 13. Total 223.5. If you know me, you know where I'm going in this game. It's been very consistent. Seth Curry, 11 or more points in 6 of the last 8 games. He's averaging 12 a game. He's playing one of the worst teams in the NBA. He's playing more minutes. He's hitting his stride. And Doc Rivers has been much more reliant headed to the bench. And what's one thing Seth Curry is going to do? He's going to play later in this game. Over 11.5 points. It's very simple. These numbers are just too low. Over 11.5. It's been really good to me. I'm okay where we are. If it happens to where he only scores 8, so be it. But he has been a good player for this team, and he's hit these these totals out of the park. He's had a couple games where he's hit 10 at the half. He's has the ability to make threes. He gets to the line. He's just a good offensive player. Seth Curry, over 11.5 points, had 25 Blackjack against Houston in February. I don't know if he gets there tonight. I'll go over 11.5 points with Steph Curry.
Yeah, I don't mind that, brother. Your props have been hitting at a great clip. So, I think you're finding a lot of value there. I don't see a lot of value elsewhere in this game. I think that 13 is –
a lot of big numbers tonight.
13 is right about where it should be in my view. The total to me, again, it feels like it could go either way. I just don't think you're getting a ton of value on any side of this. So if you're going to bet this, follow Jeff and take a prop bet because I don't see a lot of value in side or total.
Yeah, I will say this.
Say it.
If you've watched it, the Sixers have been drilling teams recently, drilling them.
Listen, I'm a fan. I told you they're my pick to come out of the East, but I just don't love laying 13 points.
Right. They have been drilling teams, and they have had their eye on the prize. I think that game the other night against Chicago opened their eyes a little bit. We can't leave our foot off the gas because if we do, a decent team. This is not a decent team. I will say this. There at this point is no benefit in backing teams like Houston. None. None at all. There's nothing positive to do with them. Nothing.
The teams that are actively tanking.
Yeah.
At this point.
They're 21-41 against that number. It doesn't really matter that they're 13, but they don't play well. They suck. How do they score in this game? And I know the NBA at times is you can't bet that way.
I mean, Kevin Porter Jr. goes off for 50. I don't know.
Which I don't think is going to happen here. Yeah, it would definitely be Sixers or pass. It's that simple. The Houston is that inept. This game screams 120-95.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but I don't have the stomach for laying that kind of points this late in an NBA season. It's just not – I'm not interested.
But, yes, tonight the play in this game is over 11.5 points for Seth Curry. I'm so involved with the Currys, I get them mixed up.
You are.
And I was watching this freaking – I was watching Cake I was watching Cake Boss last night, and it was the episode – I don't know if you watch the show, but it was the episode where they make a Taj Mahal cake. So they're talking about curry and all sorts of food, and they went to a wedding involving Indian folks, and I'm hearing curry, and I'm betting on curry props. Curry, the name – I watched the White Boy Rick documentary with Johnny Curry. Just so many Currys in my life. Okay, Lord Air Ball. I like that name. Can we get some player props? Like a lot. I love your props. Yes, stay tuned. We've got more. Sam Calmer, unreal call on the Giants team total. How about that Blackjack yesterday? Giants team total over 3.5. Top of the first. They scored 10 runs, I think, or 6 runs. It was crazy. Wow. How about that? Those are the good ones.
Baseball.
Sam Calmer says, I ain't fading the Knicks as a dog this time.
We'll get there, Sam.
We'll get there in just a second. If you have a comment or question, you want to get involved with the chat, feel free to do it. Next game, Phoenix Suns. Look at this line. Look at this line. Phoenix Suns -1 at Atlanta.
Yeah.
Total 228. Look, this is the rat line of the day. The Atlanta Hawks will win this game. They just will. There's a reason this line is where it is. They're putting it out there. Phoenix will struggle tonight. Maybe someone will play. But I'm going with another best bet here, Blackjack.
Okay.
Clint Capella, over 13.5 rebounds.
A lot of rebounds, man.
Clint Capella is the number 1 rebounder in the NBA. Did you know that?
No, can't say that I did. Still,
he averages 14.5 boards a game. And I picked against the Suns. I picked against them last night with Colin Sexton rebound props. I'm going to Clint Capella here. The Suns are not a good rebounding team. They get shredded on the glass. Clint Capella, last 12 games, 9 of them he's had 14 or more rebounds. This guy is a beast on the glass. He is the best rebounder in the league. It's that simple. And I'll gladly side with a guy like Clint Capella. He should have many opportunities for plenty of boards tonight. I think he probably gets high teens in rebounds. I have no issue laying 13.5. I think it's a pretty good number, frankly. Clint Capella over 13.5 rebounds is my second best bet. And I, for the record, like the Hawks. I think they win this basketball game.
I am with you that I think the Hawks win the game. I think Phoenix coming second night of a back-to-back, having to play an overtime game the night before, and now dealing with an Atlanta offense that is really clicking on all cylinders. And again, we talked about Minnesota playing their best basketball of the year. I mean, since the All-Star break, nobody's been hotter than these Atlanta Hawks. So this team is playing really, really well. I'm with you. I think that this line is just – you're going to get a lot of people jumping on Phoenix here and thinking that they're getting a gift, and not so much. I don't know if I'm going to pull the trigger on it or if it's just a strong lean, but I am with you that I think it's Hawks or nothing for me.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm going to not only play Capella over 13.5 rebounds, I'm going to take Atlanta as well. I think this is a good play. +1. Clint Capella with a great comment. They asked him about his surge, and he says, "All I think about is dominating the paint." There you go. And
right.
Look, I hate to say it, I like Ayton and all, but Clint Capella is just really dynamic. I think Trae Young makes him a really great player. I think he could be that could be a really good duo for years to come down in Atlanta. This is a team that I'm really excited about. They haven't been relevant, really for many years, and I'm excited about seeing what they can do. Keep in mind also in that game against Phoenix that the Suns played against the Hawks a month or two ago, Clint Capella had 16 rebounds. I'm really liking this guy. I think he's playing at a high level. So I'm going to involve myself with his rebound prop, and I'm going to involve myself with the Atlanta Hawks as well. +1.
All right.
Let's go to the next game here. John Chow says, "Love the Hawks. Good call, Blackjack." Yes, like this one a lot. Anthony Crivello, how are the Knicks dogs? Jokic is GTD. Knicks all day, baby. First half. Settle down, Anthony. We'll get to it. A lot of people want to talk Knicks. How about that?
Yeah.
But Anthony has an interesting point. We'll get to it. But we got to go through this junk game. Indiana laying 6.5 at home against Sacramento. Total is 240. Look, I will say I don't have much interest in this one. A lot of injuries on both sides. No Halliburton, no Fox, no Barnes. Indiana has Brogdon questionable. Turner's been out. And look, we've talked about Indiana. We talked about it on Monday. Without Miles Turner in the lineup, this defense sucks. But here's the problem for the Kings. They just don't have any guard play right now. I mean, Buddy Hield's been just really jacking threes. That's all he really does. And you look at Sacramento's scores, I mean, they've just kind of been very boring. I mean, a lot of 105, 101 kind of games.
Yep.
I think the only angle I would have here is, and I don't know, I want to see here, Blackjack, why don't you give your play, and then I'll get to what I thought about here.
I'm going to tell you what I'm playing. I'm playing Sacramento Kings +6.5 points. You know why? Because the Indiana Pacers do not cover spreads. They don't do it. Okay, they are atrocious against the number, particularly as a favorite, particularly at home. They are bad. And I don't love the Kings by any stretch. And everything you said is right. The injury's awful, the whole thing. But the Pacers don't cover numbers. Give me the Kings.
Yeah, I mean, I have no issue with it for sure. I mean, and by the way, if you get no Brogdon tonight, I mean, this is a pretty bad lineup outside of Karis LeVert. So, yeah, I think you get in on it early. Maybe try to grab a 7 and just hang, see how it goes. The Kings, though, both teams are bad.
Oh, they're both very bad.
Both teams are in bad predicaments right now. What I thought about here was maybe taking a shot with some kind of 3-point prop for LeVert maybe, or somebody like that. The Kings are a dreadful 3-point defense. They're giving up the second worst 3-point percentage in the league. But yeah, all in all, I'll just root for you, Blackjack. Hopefully you hit the Kings here. But I'm not on it. I'm just not. All right, next one. And this is the next two games are pretty interesting. Milwaukee Bucks laying 3.5 here against Washington, the surging Wizards. Who, can I ask you something? Who would you rather see in the playoffs, Blackjack? Washington or Boston?
Washington.
Is it even close?
No. I listen. And as much as people seem to malign Russell Westbrook, and I'll be honest, I never understood it because I think he's an incredible player and has been for many years. What he's doing right now is just, it's kind of silly, right? Like, he's playing great basketball right now, making a case that he should be on an all-NBA team somewhere. Like, this dude is putting up stupid numbers here, and the Wizards are winning games.
Yeah, they really are. And, I think the Wizards are where they are. They just have, their pace is fast. They play up and down. They are going to struggle in the defensive end. And, I think, and I'm not trying to be like the guy here, but I'm going to be it. They've covered 14 of 17. Fair. I think you look at who they played. I mean, A lot of the teams have been bad. And One of the games they didn't cover was against Phoenix, a team that's pretty good. Mm-hmm. I have a feeling they get smacked here.
Oh, I'm so with you.
Yeah, they played they played Milwaukee twice this year, gave up 125 and 133, both in efforts where they lost by 6 or more. I know the Bucks are playing on a back-to-back, and I have a little bit of an issue with that, but they just don't get stops, Washington. This is going to be an up-and-down game. I think you maybe lean on even like a Milwaukee team total, 122. 3.5 looks pretty strong. It didn't quite get there as like a full unit bet for me, but I just think the Wizards look, again, very honorable. Listen, I've said for a long time, I don't necessarily love Russell Westbrook sometimes, but nothing will ever get away from me that he is one of the most athletic, truly talented players in this league. I will always give him that. I think when you put him up there as a point guard, I think if he could just get past the me guy kind of attitude, which I think he has over the years, he's gotten better with, there are very few players that can do what he does.
He threatened Scott Skiles' single-game assist record, a couple of nights ago when he had 24 assists.
And we talked about it yesterday, Blackjack, in that game the other night where he had that crazy stat line. You know the last player to have that kind of stat line? Russell Westbrook. And you know who before that it was in 1968?
Oscar Robertson.
Wilt Chamberlain.
Jeez. Dude,
he does things that no one else
and 24. Think about that.
Yeah, it's
who does that?
It's nutty, man. It's nutty. So yeah, what do you like here? I'm guessing you're leaning Bucks minus.
I'm taking the
back-to-back.
No. I'm with you. Listen, this Wizards team has certainly improved. They've kind of got things together. I get that. I give them credit for it. However, let's be real here. They're still not a very good basketball team. They're all right, middling at best. The Bucks are in a different class. The Bucks win this game by double digits. Okay, lay the 3.5.
Yeah, I got to be honest. I don't necessarily disagree. This kind of seems like a 124, 113 type of game, something like that.
It's going to get a little. The Bucks will win this thing handily, I think.
I think if you're a neutral, as they say, you just want to watch basketball. It's a good one. It's a good one. Okay, this is. Listen, I always love these kind of comments. I want to talk about this.
Yeah, we should talk about every player on every roster.
Exactly. OG, let me ask you something. Okay, and I'm not going to jump on you. I'm not. I used to do that.
I will.
I want to say this. OG, we go over every game. Okay, every side. We give you props. I can't sit here and go over every player. And it's weak of you to admit that we did talk about Bogey Bogdanović, and I talked about him last week as being one of the only options they had to go to when Trae Young and Kevin Huerter and others were out.
Can't talk about every player on every team. And also the second part of what you wrote, OG, is that outside of Randall and a few others, he's a candidate for most improved player. First of all, who cares about most improved player? Second of all, he's not going to win it. Third of all, Julius Randle's not a candidate for most improved player. He's a goddamn MVP candidate. Okay? I mean, that's where he is.
Listen, I've grown up over the years.
Figure it out.
I don't really do like a lot of the going back and forth with people anymore, but let's slow down, OG. All right? Bogdanović is terrific. He's been great. I mean, all those guys have. Clint Capella, everyone has. I just said they're really an exciting team, and I like them long term. But nobody cares about most improved player. And look, Bogdanović is a good player. He is. But again, I can't sit here, OG, and go over every single player on every team. I mean, I give love to Colin Sexton every night. I don't even talk about the main players. I will do my best, but you can't, maybe you should listen to every show because we've talked about Bogdanović and, we can't go over every player. We just can't. Markel Bryant says over Kings Pacers. Well, look,
Probably.
Both teams don't defend. Both teams play at a high pace. I'm a little worried, Markel, and I said this when we talked about it with Blackjack's thoughts. I'm a little worried about their ability to manufacture offense. I am, because they don't necessarily – I guess DeLon Wright can do it, but Buddy Hield, while good when he catches the ball, he doesn't really create much. They don't really have great guard play right now without Fox and Halliburton. It's not ideal. That's all. Carl Cross says, LOL, most improved participation trophy. Yeah, that's true. Blazed Towns fan says, what's up, big man? What's up, brother? Thanks for watching. Appreciate you. All right, let's go through the game that everyone wants to hear us talk about. The Knicks and the Nuggets. How about this one? This should be a fun game. Would you say this is the best game on the board tonight as far as watching, or no?
Yeah, I think I would. I think Phoenix and Atlanta's going to be really good too. But I think that this game is the one that I'm most interested in.
Yeah. Denver laying a solid 4. Seems like Denver lays 4 every night. Every night.
Common number for them.
Totals 215. It's funny. Someone asked Nikola Jokic his thoughts in him winning the MVP, and he says, and I'm going to try to do it in his accent because I'm Albanian and I can do that. He responded with, I don't care. I care more about my team.
Okay.
Which he does.
Good for him.
And that's a standard Nikola Jokic answer. I only care about my team, which is there anyone?
Did I be impressed because he said the right thing?
But is there anyone? You know why I like Jokic? He's just he is truly everything that a Serbian basketball player is. They are bring your lunch pail. I know I'm the best, and I just do it, and I'm a killer. I'm Vlade Divac. I'm Peja. I'm just – they're all business. They don't talk. They're all business. I love the European player. I always have.
Well, soft.
They are not soft. Nikola Jokic will give you a slap if you get him real mad. I'll tell you that.
I'm not real worried about getting Nikola Jokic mad.
Nikola Jokic would two-piece you.
I'm not talking about me. I'm telling you, he's not facing me tonight, brother. He's facing Julius Randle.
And he'll two-piece Julius Randle.
Julius Randle in that matchup any day of the week.
Julius Randle. Listen, don't sleep. Listen, you want to hear us talk about Bogdanović, OG, that another Serbian? We'll talk about Jokic. Nikola Jokic will give you a smack back into the Cold War, Blackjack.
I mean, I don't know where you're getting it from. What has he shown to give you that?
He's a beast, man. He's tough.
No, I don't see it.
He looks like, dude. He will. He's a silent killer. Those are the guys you don't want to mess with. The Albanian that comes up and sticks something in your ear and just.
This is a personal thing for you. You're a homer on this.
Do you know the history between Albanians and Serbians, Blackjack?
I don't, Jeff. I don't.
It's not good.
I'm an American. I live with my head in the sand.
Markel Bryant says, don't sleep on Jokic. Exactly. All right, let's get into the breakdown. You talk about favoritism. You're a Knicks fan.
I am, but I got to tell you, listen, I will continue to bet this team as an underdog. I don't love the Knicks as a favorite, okay? Laying points with this team is not a sound strategy because, and I understand they've been really hot lately, but this Knicks offense at times will have its issues. And they, you talk about pace. Well, pace is not a friend of the Knicks. So laying points is not my favorite with them. But if you're going to give me points with this team, I am going to take it against virtually anybody because they play the best defense in basketball. They will compete every possession, and they will keep games close to where even if they don't win, they're close in the fourth quarter and you got a chance to cover this thing. Denver has got a ton of people out. I think as a team, I'm joking somewhat about Jokic. I think he's an incredible player. He's one of the top 5 players. One of the top 5 players in the NBA without question. But I do think as a team, Denver's a little soft. I do. I think Michael Porter Jr. is a soft kind of player. I think that team without Jamal Murray, a little soft. This Knicks team's not soft. They're gonna hit you in the mouth. So I'm going to take the Knicks plus the 4 here.
I'll say 2 things. First of which is Michael Porter, I've been on record as saying is the worst defender in the NBA.
Yeah.
While he's good offensively, he is dreadful on defense. What? You're not backing on Facundo Campazzo, the Argentinian?
I'm not.
He's playing well, 10 points a game. He's actually done a nice job for them.
I'm not saying he hasn't, but they're about to face the toughest defense that there is in the NBA. So let's see what happens.
I will, and it's funny because I always carry the water for international players. I love watching guys like Campazzo and Jokic and Siakam. I just love their game. I've always said like Europeans are just and kids gets from Africa and wherever, they're just fun and I like them. Shout out to Campazzo, he's done a nice job. Someone says over 9.5 for Campazzo. Yeah, and they're thin. That's a good point. OG Johnson, that's actually a good point by you. I think it's just a bit high because Campazzo just, I don't know, he really reminds me of like a Ricky Rubio type, to be honest. But I think he could probably get there with 10. As you said, he's going to play a lot of minutes, so definitely makes some sense. I thought of this game kind of as a real knockdown, drag out, 106, 102 type of game. I hate unders in the NBA. They're really tough. They just are. But you look at pace in this game. We know that the Knicks are slow. Denver's one of the slowest pace in the league. Denver takes 8 hours every time they have the ball. This is going to be a walk the ball up the court. We know how slow Jokic is with his mannerisms and that kind of stuff. I think this is one of the it wouldn't surprise you this is the lowest game scoring-wise on the board. But you love the Knicks. You've been back. You're not taking a money line tonight, though, huh?
No, I'm taking the Knicks as a dog. I think that the Knicks – listen, Denver's a good team. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that the Knicks win this basketball game. But if you're going to give me 2 possessions with this Knicks team, I'm going to take it every time.
Yeah. It's a shame because the Knicks are just – we all know what their fate is going to be in about a month. So,
What's the fate?
That they're going to go home.
Well, I mean, listen, they're not going to win anything, but they could win a first-round series if they hold on to that 4-5 seed.
Absolute loser Knick fans celebrating because they win a regular season game on 7th.
You don't think they could win a first-round series?
No, I don't.
Really? I do.
I mean, what a bunch of losers. Seriously, complete losers. Celebrating on winning.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I wouldn't be celebrating in the street over it.
But people act like the Knicks are like the number 1 seed. I mean, they've done a nice job, but they're not winning.
I'm just saying, if they hold on to the 4 seed, I don't see why they couldn't win a playoff series. I mean, that's the extent of it.
Atlanta. No way. No way. Trae Young, baby. That's the difference, pal.
I mean, ultimately, that is the problem for the Knicks, right?
Hey, look at this comment. There's a video of Joker going crazy on Jay Crowder. Crowder didn't want anything. Listen, people know the deal with Jokic. I'll give you one better. The 3 people that I'm not messing with in the NBA, I'm going to give you them. Jokic and the Morris brothers.
I'll give you the Morris brothers.
Will clap your head off.
I mean, I'll give you the Morris brothers, yeah.
Jokic, I'm telling you, man, Jokic is tough, man. Why are you sleeping on Jokic, Blackjack?
I mean, I feel like there's probably some crazier people in the NBA.
All right. Hey, by the way, speaking of Jokic, have you ever seen Nurkic's? Have you ever seen his father, Jusuf Nurkic?
I've never seen his father.
Dad's a cop in where's he from? Bosnia?
Yeah.
I'm not kidding, Blackjack. This dude is 7 foot, 400 pounds. He's one of the biggest humans you'll ever see. They had him at a game like 2 years ago. Huge. Like a gigantic person. It's crazy.
How about if Denver could have made it work with the two of them in the front court?
Oh, my God. OG says Jokic's brother Nemanja is a 6'10 MMA fighter. Oh, my God. He tried finding Westbrook after a game a few years ago. Yeah. You don't want to screw with those guys. Knicks fans are like Cowboy fans. That's a good point.
No, see, I will take umbrage to that because that's not right. This Knicks team, and OG Johnson's comment right underneath it is spot on here. This was a team that had no expectations this year.
Oh, yeah,
right?
He's definitely the coach.
Nobody thought this was a playoff team. So the fact that they may be hosting a first-round series, yes, it is something that you should appreciate, and you can celebrate the fact that the team is improving and moving in the right direction. But let's be real now. If this team finishes in the 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, they're a playoff team this year. They're not going to be in the play-in, it looks like. Now the expectations for next year they're raised, right? So what do you do? Because end of the day, this team's made up of a bunch of guys on one-year deals, and there's really not a true superstar here. I love Randall, and I'd re-sign him and I'd pay him, but he's not the guy that's going to win you a title, right? Like Julius Randle's not the best player on a championship team. So where do you find that person?
Yeah, I mean, look, Tibbs has done a great job. Definitely the coach of the year. And I've said I think that the NBA is way better when the Knicks are good. Also, a couple quick injury points. Jokic is going to play. A lot of people saying he may or may not play. He's going to play. A couple guys out, though. Will Barton's out, Monte Morris out, and Dozier out. Austin Rivers is going to be the starting point guard tonight, and Campazzo will be, a 30-minute kind of guy. So I will say the Campazzo over 9.5 points sounds nice, I got to say. But I'll root for you on this one. Should be a good game. Should be a fun, low-scoring,
I'm looking forward to it.
Good old NBA type of game. All right, next one. Final game. San Antonio at Utah. Utah laying 7, total 219. I backed San Antonio the other night on the show you and I had. They just missed out, just didn't play real well. I don't have much on this game. No real interest. I don't really want to back Utah just because without Mitchell and Conley, there's just no interest for me. I think it could go either way. I think the number's probably right where it should be. It's a pass for me.
Totally agree. I thought you were on the right side of it last time, but again, without Mitchell and Conley, I can't bet a Jazz team right now. And the Spurs just don't. I don't know. I feel like I'm always on the wrong side of the Spurs. So it's a game for me that I walk away from.
That's a good point. I actually feel the same way. All right, let's get to some best bets, and then we'll wrap up with a comment or two. For me, I'm going to go with 2 props again and a side. 2 props. Seth Curry over 11.5 points. I'm also going to go Clint Capella over 13.5 rebounds. The Suns are not a good rebounding team. I'll keep picking on them. Clint Capella is the best rebounder in the league. And I'm going to also take the Atlanta Hawks plus the 1. I think they beat the Phoenix Suns tonight. Tough spot for the Suns coming off of an overtime game. Also, just doesn't look right. I think a lot of people will see that and kind of bet on the Suns. I'm going to play the Hawks here. What do you like, Blackjack? What are your plays?
All right, best bets. I've got the Timberwolves plus 3.5, the Kings plus 6.5, the Bucks minus 3.5, and the Knicks plus 4.
3 dogs, 1 favorite. I do like those. Like that favorite a little bit with the Bucks. Agree with you there. I want to tell everyone one thing, including Blackjack, really having the time of my life with this show, really having fun. We have great people on here, always have good conversations talking about hoops. It's nice to kind of be involved with something every day where we're starting to build a little bit of an audience. People are liking what we're doing. I will urge you, if you know someone that might like this show, tell them about it. I know I have a good fan base. I know I have people that like us, and Blackjack does as well. But if there's someone out there that might like it, let them know about it. We're trying to clip this stuff. We're trying to put it out there so people know about it and kind of power our way into the NBA playoffs where we'll keep it going, having fun with the props, having fun with everything. So it's just been really enjoyable. So thanks for joining. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. I'm here every day, noon Eastern. We got Blackjack. We got Ski Profit. We got Martin Wise. We got Donnie Wrightside. We got Spread Astaire. We got Ian Cameron. We got all sorts of people that join this show on a daily basis. Blackjack, I do want to tell everyone today is Wednesday. If you enjoy mob history, you like the mafia, we have a podcast, Blackjack and I do. It's called The Sit Down. Blackjack wasn't on this week, but he's on most weeks. This week we talked about the Philadelphia Black Mafia. It's one of the most interesting crime groups in the history of this country. Really a lot of ties to the Nation of Islam, a lot of things. Really a fascinating group, a violent and disturbing group. Make sure you check them out. Really kind of a different view on things. We don't talk about sports betting. It's kind of a different passion project for me. Blackjack's done a great job on that. We have Big Joey Messina coming up. We talked about him and all sorts of other guys. So check that out if you enjoy podcasts.
Yep.
It's called The Sit Down. You can get it on iTunes, Google, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Blackjack, you've done a great job with the NBA, with that show. Thanks for coming on today.
Thank you, friend. Anytime.
Yeah, always good to hear from you. As always, back tomorrow. We'll be here. Taking a look at the Thursday card. Make sure you check us out live at noon Eastern here on Pickswise. I'm the big man. He's Blackjack. We'll see you tomorrow.